Second story, Kayla Braxton claps back at IWC fans. So Kayla Braxton clapped out against some of the IWC, which I'm never mad when people clap at the IWC, but I do have to dissect what she said, because while I think she was right on a couple of things, I think she might have lost focus on a couple of the shots that she took. So I wanted to talk about the quote and kind of break it down. So Kayla says, IWC, you insult our work, our bodies, our personalities, etc., while we present a craft that we've perfected and we get paid to do so that we can entertain you week after week. The minute we bark back, you call us intolerable, and some of you are laughable, except you're not funny. So let's break down that quote. Let's break down the first part of that quote. And I'm sorry, Kayla, but here's the problem. Critiquing is part of everything. Movies, sports, music, that's inevitable. It's going to happen. Anything that is funded by people paying to watch or listen to a product, they're going to create it. So honestly, that's part of every job, even restaurants. And that's what Yelp exists for. That's what Google reviews exist for. So this idea that no matter what you do and how hard you work at it, people can't critique it, that's wrong. You can't, I understand. And I understand the way they go about it might be wrong, but you can't just call for them not to critique it. The truth is, you have to decide quickly as somebody who is in a spotlight, whether you're going to let the voice of strangers affect you or you're going to ignore them. That happens even on podcasts, right? And I heard a quote the other day that you shouldn't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Believe it was Pat McAfee. Don't know exactly who it was, but I did hear that. And that kind of resonated with me, because even as a podcaster, you get a lot of just negativity, negative comments, and you have to realize that that's just part of the gig. And I get that a lot of, I'm going to put this in quotations, celebrities, no matter what level they're at, they struggle with those insecurities. But if you choose a profession that is in the spotlight, you have to be able to develop a thicker skin, because the IWC is going to get you, that is just part of what they do. That is part of their culture. Now, the second part of the quote, when we bark back, you guys call us intolerable. So here's the problem, Kayla. When you bark back, you're giving them exactly the reaction they wanted. Have you met the internet? Have you met the IWC? It is full of a bunch of victim mentality motherfuckers. The IWC thrives on the victim mob mentality. They will talk shit. They will knock down the casual fans. And then when the casual fans come back, they go, why you guys can't just be happy that wrestlers get to go to whatever company they want? They always have some kind of excuse to back up the bullshit that they started in the first place. They thrive on the victim mentality. It is why this show and the people who listen to this show identify as casual wrestling fans and not as IWC. Because we're able to understand when we're right, when we're wrong, and it's never personal to us. So I was fine. I'm fine with Kayla Braxton's quote. I thought there was nothing wrong with what she said. I think it's a little misguided, but that's okay. Kayla Braxton gets to say whatever the fuck she wants, and we all have to be okay with it. Here's the problem. It's when she came back and followed it up with a second quote, trying to almost like somebody in WWE got to her and made her kind of follow up. And she said, I don't come on here looking for negativity. The world is effed up enough and divided as it is. I try to make my feed a positive and humorous space, though I appreciate a good tease. I could do without the ones loaded with ill intent. Just wish we could all be nice to each other. Why does she need to qualify her opinion? I don't get that. Someone must have told her, or she felt bad. I get it. She's probably a nice person and felt bad. I'm not a nice person. I'll say what the fuck I feel. That's the internet. That's what the internet does. That's how the internet's always going to be. And you just have to leave it if you don't like it. I left TikTok because that's a toxic wrestling community. All they want to hear is negativity. I would put up thoughtful videos with thoughtful insight, nothing. No views, no comments, nothing. I'd post one negative video, one negative rant, 100,000 views, tens of thousands of comments, everybody bitching and complaining, talking shit. That people just love negativity. They thrive on it, especially the IWC. And Twitter, I don't have a lot of experience with Twitter because I don't like Twitter. I think it's an echo chamber for people to just write. Everybody on Twitter is trying to do one thing. They're writing something to get noticed or to get a reaction. It's not their real thoughts. They take those 140 characters and they're trying to devise something that gets a reaction because that's the only way to succeed on Twitter. So why I don't do well on there is because I don't want to spark outrage for the sake of outrage. So the idea, and I get it, it's wishful thinking that like Kayla Braxton goes, I'm trying to create a feed that's as positive as possible. Not on Twitter. It's not going to happen. You're going to get infiltrated by dipshits. You know, like I'm trying to create a chill place for real wrestling discussion. And that's why you create a Discord, because you can monitor who comes in and that. That's why you can do stuff on your website. You can monitor who comes in and out, but you don't have control on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You don't have, that world is just so open-ended, full of IWC that there's no hope. And then finishing it off with the quote that I just wish we could all be nice to each other. I think we all do, but it'll never happen. That's not the internet. My advice, Kayla, is you're extremely good at your job. You seem like a really good fucking person. Just ignore the internet. Just ignore the IWC. 99.9% of the negative comments and posts are built from jealousy. Like, that's the problem. What you have to really realize is ultimately when you dig down to the bottom and you get to the reason that they say what they say, they're just not happy with themselves. It has nothing to do with you. You're good at your job. You're a good person. You are trying to make the internet a better place. And they just are never going to accept that.